and you just go with it. You know how it is, right?
Yes.
It's like,
Pretty much every day.
and thank you to One Tom Plummer for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight Program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio at the Sawmill Theaters Plaza. Hoping you're having a great Friday morning. And today is our first program of the year where we're going to be putting our spotlight on students and programs at the Payson High School. So it's our Longhorn Spotlight program, and today we're going to be talking about DECA. And in the studio we have the DECA instructor, Ginger Liddell. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning.
And one of her students, superstar student, Caitlyn Hall. How are you doing, Caitlyn?
I'm doing good.
Hey, that is good. And I was going to ask, but I can tell, you are a senior, because it says so on your sweatshirt. So are you excited? Your senior year, you're going to be done with high school?
Yeah, I'm excited to graduate.
Nice. And do you know what you're going to be doing?
I'm going to go to NAU.
Nice. Lumberjack, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, that is great. Well, we'll talk about maybe DECA, how DECA helped you with that and everything. But first, I always like to, and I know we've had you on, Ginger, a lot to talk about DECA, to bring students on. But for those listening and watching, if they don't know what DECA is, can you give just a brief explanation what it is?
Sure. So DECA is the marketing organization that's a part of my marketing class. So it's a co-curricular program where the students from my marketing class have an opportunity to compete in different aspects of role plays or business plans within the program of DECA. And they compete at a district level, state level, as well as internationally with like 23,000 students from around the world that come to compete. And so it's just a great opportunity for the kids to apply what they've been learning in the classroom in an actually competitive atmosphere.
So how long have you been a part of DECA, Caitlyn?
All 4 years I've been in it since freshman year.
Wow. And what made you decide to join DECA your freshman year?
Well, I've known Miss Liddell for a long time, so I knew I wanted to take her class, and I thought marketing was just a really interesting topic.
Oh, cool. So what is it about marketing, I guess? Like, what aspect do you find interesting?
I think just because we interact with like marketing and like every day in our everyday lives, and like learning how it works behind the scenes is really interesting.
It is crazy when you think about it, the exposure we have to marketing that you don't even realize. Like just looking around the room right here, our microwave is Sharp, and on the refrigerator, the GE symbol, the logo. And when you look around, we're constantly bombarded with marketing impressions, whether it's visually or listening to them. It just is crazy.
And as like many of my students won't go into marketing field or even a business field when they graduate, but as I tell them, it doesn't really matter because you have to market yourself. You have to, you still are marketing your business regardless what kind of job you have. Even if you're a tire changer, you still have that customer service. You still have that contact with the customer. And so all the things that we learn within the classroom are applicable no matter what direction you end up going in a career path.
Makes me think of that saying, everyone is selling something.
Yes, absolutely.
So, wow, that's cool. So 4 years you've been in DECA. What is your favorite part of DECA, Caitlyn?
I really like the competition.
Oh, okay.
It's really fun,
Did you always gravitate toward competitions, and is it nervous or nerve-wracking?
Yeah, it is definitely nerve-wracking, especially because it's like an impromptu competition. You don't really know what you're going into beforehand, but it's really fun.
Yes, so what would you say was your favorite competition so far since being in DECA?
I think maybe 2 years ago at state, I did a team competition in travel and tourism.
Oh,
that was
okay.
really fun.
That was really good. So have there been any competitions this year so far?
There have not.
Okay, so when is your first competition?
January.
January, and where will that be?
At Phoenix.
In Phoenix. So you probably, it starts out on a regional, is it
Yeah,
the region? District level, and then how do you have to place in districts to move on?
You don't have to place in districts. Anyone can
Okay.
go to state.
Oh, okay. So then, when would the state competition be?
That's end of February.
Okay. And then, do you have to place in state?
You have to get top 5 in your category in state to go to internationals.
Okay, and where is internationals this year?
This year it's in Florida.
In Florida. Wow, and have you been to internationals?
I have not.
No, so is that a goal for this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Nice,
So
nice.
she's actually going to do a written event this year too.
Oh, wow.
Just a different aspect of
Yeah.
competition to dabble her foot in that seat.
Oh, that's really cool. So yeah, there's so many different areas within DECA that you can compete in, right?
Yeah. So there's the role plays that have 20 to 30 different categories, topics that they can start with, either accounting, finance, business communications, hospitality, tourism, sports, marketing, even automotive sales. It is a wide retail, merchandising, fashion design, any of those, there's a wide variety. Business law and ethics. There's also, those are like the role plays, and then the written events, they have where they can write a business plan where they're starting up a business, and it's either 10 to 20 pages where they actually go into depth of this startup, whether it's a startup or even taking a franchise and opening it up somewhere else. And then they put together their presentation and present that in front of a judge. And the one she's doing actually has to do with our golf tournament. So we have a golf tournament coming up on November 16th. And so they can write up, it's like a community awareness sales project where they write up a whole thing on how we got it started, what did we have to do, here's our plan, what was the final outcome, and then they put together that presentation in front of the judge, and then they get graded upon how effectively they were at writing the paper as well as presenting it.
Well, that's a great segue into your golf tournament that you're doing. So DECA does fundraisers, yes, throughout the year, and this is one of them. This is probably your biggest fundraiser?
It is. So last year was our first golf tournament, and we netted about $8,500 for that, our first one. This year we are hosting it at the Chaparral Pines, and we're almost at even $12,000 right now in regards to going forward. We still have room for teams. If anyone is interested in partnering up with a team for our golf tournament on November 16th, just reach out to me at the high school, or we'll have contact information. But there's flyers around town, and we're still looking for some teams that want to participate in that. But that is our largest fundraiser that we do to help cover the cost of our competitions and leadership conferences. And then we also do a lot of volunteer within the community in order just to connect the students with local organizations. So we helped out with Aero Fair, we helped out with Sparklight here at Payson Days, and we helped co-promote that. And so it was just a great way for my students to really connect with local organizations and also apply what they've learned, whether it's through helping them with their social media or just the promotional piece, in order to kind of apply what they learned in the classroom as well as make those connections with local businesses.
Now, do you still have a internship program that is part of DECA as well?
We do. So our seniors all do an internship somewhere within the community, and actually she's doing hers at the school.
Oh, nice. Okay, so what do you do at the school?
I go to PES and JRE, and I like TA for an hour in a 2nd grade and 4th grade classroom.
Oh, okay. Great. Oh, that is really cool. So there's a lot of different opportunities then with the internship programs.
Yeah, it just depends on their interest or what they're looking to do when they get out of high school. We try to connect those things with those kids.
So now, at the beginning of the program, Caitlyn, you said that after school, because this is your senior year, you're going to be heading to NAU. How did DECA help prepare you for that, or help you maybe even make that choice?
I think a big thing, like Miss Liddell said, was how to market yourself. So, and like learning what I'm interested in, all the different competitions and stuff. And my internship has been a big help. I'm thinking about maybe going into elementary education, and so
Oh, wow.
that's been really good for me.
So elementary education, being around the little ones.
Yeah.
And,
Brave
teaching
soul.
them. Brave. Yeah, do you have any younger siblings?
I don't.
Okay, that's why. No, yeah, no, that's great, you know, elementary education. One of my daughter-in-laws, actually, that's what she's in. And, but she does online, because there's a lot of online schools now, and so that's what she chose to do. So let's see, you will be traveling to Washington. I think there's an upcoming trip where you're taking students to Washington.
Yes, it's our DECA Western Region Leadership Conference,
Okay.
and it's being held in Washington State, just south of Seattle and Bellevue.
okay.
And it's a 3-day, 4-day conference where they learn about competition as well as different leadership aspects. They hear from industry leaders. We'll do some industry tours while we're there. I think we're heading to Google and doing a couple other things while we're there, just so they get exposed to some different aspects, different businesses, and also hear from industry as to what is it they're looking for, what can they continue to do in order to grow and be better. So it's a great opportunity for them to be exposed even more to different businesses that they wouldn't encounter here.
And when is that trip again?
So we leave on November 6th.
November 6th.
Yeah.
Wow. And what are you looking forward to the most on that trip, Caitlyn?
Well, we went to Western Region a few years ago in Anaheim, and they had a mock competition.
Oh,
And that was
okay.
like my first time ever doing competition, so I'm excited for that this year, because it's a singular competition, and I've never done singular competitions, so I'm excited to try that out.
Are you competitive?
Yeah.
I'm getting that because, yeah, the competitions. I love the competitions. I know there's been, I'm thinking over the years, some students where, oh, the competitions, but I don't know. I don't think, and is it a case where, would you say the majority of students, that's their favorite thing, or is it fewer than?
Once they get into DECA, once they do and they do the first competition or so, I think that is their favorite part. Because even though one of the nice aspects of going to these competitions is the networking, getting to meet people from, I mean, here locally, but also when we're at Western Region or when we go to internationals, you're talking about meeting people from all around the world.
Yeah.
And making those connections is something that they'll never forget in those long time friendships that they're making those connections with. I think that piece of it, as well as the competitive piece, is what they really like.
Wow, so if you're just tuning in or you just started watching on our KRIM radio Facebook live stream, we're talking DECA this morning on our KRIM Longhorn Spotlight program, talking to the DECA instructor Ginger Liddell and one of her DECA students, Caitlyn Hall, and talking about just everything that is done in DECA, the students do, and how it helps them moving on from high school, and whether it's going into the workforce, to college, as Caitlyn's doing, going up to NAU, trade school, whatever it is. I think the DECA program does an incredible job at providing different tools for the students that they can definitely utilize. These are very valuable tools that they utilize as they move on from high school.
Absolutely. In regards to what I teach is probably, I wouldn't want to teach anything else. I mean, it's applicable to all my students. So it's not one of those things where it's like nothing we're learning is not going to be something you're not going to use in your future. I mean, you're not probably going to use everything, but the knowledge that you're providing, that we're providing them, and the exposure and the experience, because we do industry tours and we do other aspects of getting guest speakers to come in and talk about the different jobs that are out there. And so just exposing them to all the opportunities that, or as many opportunities as they possibly can, to think, oh, I never even thought about that, is rewarding.
And a big part of it is all of the hands-on, being able to travel, being able to go to these places, to these companies, to universities, wherever it is, to experience, these things firsthand. So that takes money, and that's where the DECA golf tournament, the participation is so important, and that is November 16th at the Chaparral Pines Golf Course. There's still space available for teams. So how would people get in touch with you? What's the best way for people to sign up for the golf tournament?
So probably the best way via the radio and coming on it would be to probably email me. It is Ginger, Ginger .Liddell, Li 2 Ds and En 2 Ls at P as in Paul, USD10.org. And then I would send them the link in order for them to do the online registration, or they can even just show up at the event. It's on November 16th at Chaparral Pines. Breakfast starts at 8:30, tee off is at 10. So even if they just showed up then, I'm sure we could fit them in at that time too.
All right. Or even if they were to call the high school and say, hey, we want to sign up for the DECA golf tournament, then they could be given your email address, contact information, whatever.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so again, yeah, you can just even call the front desk at the high school if you didn't catch the email address. And
it covers, the fee covers, it's $150 a player.
Okay.
But that includes your golf, your cart, breakfast, and lunch.
Wow. So how many students do you have in DECA this year?
So I have about 120 students. Of those, about 60 or so actually participate in competition.
Okay.
And so I was just talking about this with someone last night, and the fact that we have 60 to even 30 to 60 kids that come to state every year.
Wow.
We have a small school, 800 students, and we're going up against all the valley schools, and most of them maybe bring 10, 12 kids. And so the fact that we have such a large participation within our program, I'm really happy and proud of that. But like you said, it takes money, and so we do things in order to raise those funds to make it so the kids don't have to come out of pocket as much to cover that cost.
Yeah, because I'd imagine, wow, 30 to 60 students going down to state. And how many days is that competition?
So it's 2 nights, 3 days at the Arizona Grand.
Oh, okay.
And last year we had 40 students, and it was a little over $12,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, so and that covers the hotel, the food, our transportation, and the registration. So, but I'd like it to where the kids don't have to pay that kind of money out of their own pocket, because it's about $300 a student. So we do these fundraisers and other things in order to make it so that way it's less out of their pocket.
Yeah, because then you still have money that if you want to buy other things or get some drinks or whatever, you know, get a coffee here.
And it's a great exposure for the students. Most of them have never stayed at a nice hotel like that or resort, and they open the water park for them, so when they're not competing, they have that opportunity too, and so it's just the networking within the other, because there's around 3,000 Arizona DECA members that participate in that, and so they just make all those connections too.
So have you gone to state before?
I have,
Caitlyn?
for 3 years.
3 years. And how was that experience?
That was like I think that's my favorite thing every year. That was my first experience with the actual DECA club, and I think after state my first year I was more invested in it for sure.
Gotcha. So that helped motivate you or really get you going into DECA. Nice. So have you been able to, or have you found over the years where you've talked some friends into joining DECA or kind of pulled people in?
A few people join.
And when they join, do they say, hey, this is great, really?
Yeah, they think it's fun. Yeah, it's a great program.
No.
And then all my officers go down once a month to the middle school to expose the 8th graders, just to encourage them to join us when they become high schoolers. So she's part of that too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that I think all the CTE programs, they do that, don't they? Where they have representatives, officers from the different programs that go down, talk to the middle school students, just to give them a taste or an idea of what those programs are like. But the middle school students probably love that.
Well, I think it's great for them because they can truly see like the different programs. And it's not like an in-depth look, but it gives them a snippet of what they might encounter when they're in our programs. And since all of our 6 programs go down each month, they kind of rotate within those 8th grade classes. So every student will get exposed a little bit to what all of our CTE programs will be providing them once they get to the high school level.
All right, so next year, because goodness, the year is going to be over before we know it, especially once the holidays get here next month, Thanksgiving, and then it's over from there. So what does next year look like for DECA, and are there any other fundraisers or events that are scheduled that people could maybe put on their calendars or be looking for next year?
At this point, this time next year, we'll be doing another golf tournament. In regards to next semester, starting like January, February, we don't have anything on our schedule as of yet. That's when we start really getting busy competition-wise.
Oh, okay.
We have our district competition in January, we have our state competition in February, then we have a college and career day that's going to happen in March. So if there's any businesses that would like to participate in that, that would be an opportunity for you. And then we have our international competition in April. So that's it.
The whole and then May, you're done. You're walking, graduating, and off to NAU.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's true. There's not much time. Goodness, when January comes around.
We're just competing.
Competing.
Yeah.
So the preparation for the competitions, what does that look like? How long, or what do you do to prepare for competitions?
Well, usually we have 2 role play nights at the high school, so we'll have like 2 mock competitions. But this year, since I'm doing a written, I'll have like months to prepare my whole essay and my speech and everything.
Wow. So what motivated you, or what caused you to want to do a written or enter a written competition?
I just think it's very different from the role plays, and I think it'll be easier to like actually be able to prepare and have it all down. And on the golf tournament, I'm excited to do that because I know all about it and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
The one nice thing about written events is it's prepared ahead of time. So they can put all their presentations together, and it's not something that's impromptu like the speeches, like the role plays are.
Yes.
And so it definitely gives them an opportunity to plan ahead as to what they're going to say, what prompts they want to use, what does that look like. So it's not that. And with role plays, they also have to take a test. So that goes into their score.
Wow.
So it's just different.
And the role plays, when you said, it's impromptu, but there are, I think you said 30 categories, or a lot of different categories. So it is still pretty wide open, but it's in a specific area or category. But it can be any scenario within that category.
Yeah, so like for example, I'll just say quick serve, so that's for fast food restaurants. And so maybe the scenario had to do with something to do with a complaint, or there's a problem with staffing, or maybe they have a brand new menu, and so how are you going to introduce that to your clients? Or maybe it has something to do with you are wanting to, you're slower in these months, and so now what are we going to do in order to encourage more sales during that month? But it's one of those things where you're only given 10 minutes. So you come in, they get 10 minutes to read the scenario, they have questions they have to address as if they're the director of marketing or the manager or a sales rep. And so they get 10 minutes to read it, address it, and then they go in front of their judge and they get 10 minutes to present their solution to that problem. So it really requires them to think quickly and solve a problem, which is a great skill to have.
Oh, yeah.
And they impress me every time.
Yeah, and this is a team of how many that you're part of that's doing this?
You can, for my written or for
Or
the
for
role
the
plays,
role plays?
you can either do it with just by yourself or with a partner. I've always done it with a partner.
So a partner, so just two. So you have two, and now you're saying the upcoming competition that you're gonna be doing up in Washington is single.
Yes.
And so it'll just be you. So you're given a scenario like this or a problem, so yeah, now it'll just be you that has to come up with a solution and present.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a great experience to be able to have that opportunity to do that.
Well, and that's definitely a work skill to be able to solve problems, come up with a solution. And I think a lot of people say there's a problem, but then the solving part of it is where we struggle. And I think with this opportunity that the kids are exposed to every time they compete is it's solution based. So how are we going to go, and then thinking outside the box, how are you going to make this and still go into depth within your 10 minutes as if you are and have had planned to be able to solve this problem for months, but you only have 10 minutes.
Yeah, it is great because, as you said, identifying problems is very easy, but coming up with solutions. Do they offer a program? Do you do anything for adults? Because I know, so maybe we could get in touch with you, or maybe they could sit in
Maybe
your
we should
class.
have an adult competition just to see.
Yeah, so they can hear our young people, our teenagers, coming up with solutions instead of just pointing out problems and complaining. So you can't go to the judge and just complain and say, oh, I don't think this is right and this shouldn't be like this. I mean, that wouldn't fly, would it? No.
Well, I mean, they could do that, but they're not going to do very well.
Yeah, your score.
They won't do so well.
Yeah. It would not.
They're like, yeah, good luck.
Well, good luck. Oh, that's great. Again, the DECA golf tournament is coming up. It's November 16th at Chaparral Pines, and there are still spots available and open for teams. So if you want to get signed up, you can contact Ginger. You can either call the school, or your email again is it
ginger.liddell at pusd10.org.
There we go. And great cause. It helps send the DECA students to competitions, to different places in the state and also around the country, to businesses or to different organizations, universities, just to get hands-on experience and learn from people that are actually doing the things that they're interested in possibly doing.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Ginger, for coming on this morning.
Well, thank you for allowing us to present today.
Oh, heck yeah. Always. Love having the different programs come on, students, and share with the community about what they're doing, all of their accomplishments and contributions to the community, which I think there's some people that might not realize how much our young people contribute to our community and the impact they have on our community. So it's great to have people hear that, and also how our young people are getting prepared for the future. So it is good. All right, well, thank you again, and thank you to everyone listening and watching this morning. Thank you to One Tom Plumber for sponsoring our Longhorn Spotlight program. And if you forgot, there is a football game tonight. Payson going down to Valley Christian, and we will be live streaming that. So if you can't make it down, you can watch it in your living room. Also at Backwoods, if you want to go get a meal, you can watch it on one of their big screen TVs over there. Well, time to get back to the music here on KRIM with the Police, John Cougar, and Journey. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
With this morning's KRIM weather forecast for
right.
Incidents surrounding areas, I'm now meteorologist Corey Hillworth. For your final